creepy image about to pop up.
Okay. Yeah. So you viewers at home, we're throwing up a creepy image
All
here.
right. So,
Eh.
um, a new Exorcist Believer trailer is dropped
Mm-hmm.
this week. So we're
Ew.
doing another one. We're
Yeah.
doing another one, right? And the lighting in these, I mean, horror movies rely a lot on lighting.
Mm-hmm.
But the
Yes, they
interesting
do.
thing that I've seen a few people asking and some thoughts that we probably have unique opinions on, a generalistic opinion on, kind of like what a cultural consensus is on. Um, do horror movies impact you in a negative way? Specifically, like, can horror movies cause trauma? Especially since we have like a lot of a lot of mental illness and mental health is a big part of today's world.
Mm.
So,
I
like
think
the
so.
entertainment genre. So you say right off the bat without
I
any
think so.
I
explanation, it
think
Yeah.
can cause
so.
trauma.
Yeah, I
Now,
would
Yeah,
agree.
I was actually talking to a friend the other day, and he said that he had an issue watching Guardians of the Galaxy, the third
What?
Guardians of the Galaxy,
why is that?
because of the body horror in the movie
Mm.
with the animals and the creatures, because he saw a commercial when he was younger,
Mm,
not that young, but when he was younger, like in early high school, he saw a commercial of the human centipede,
right.
and
Whew.
he
I've
said
never
it
seen that, and I'm
totally.
so
I've
happy.
never seen it. He said he's never seen it. He's only seen the trailer, and it completely threw him off, and he
Ugh.
cannot handle the body horror.
Yeah. All right. So to springboard off of that point, it's interesting because there is a cultural consensus around this issue when it comes to younger ages.
Mm.
From what I could find, the only real research that was done was actually by it was kind of like a Presbyterian foundation that
Mhm.
did a research study on horror movies' psychological impact. And what they found was the only age group, according to their study, is 1 to 3 year olds. Based on
That can't be true.
if they
No.
see
That's
something,
wrong. It's
if
absolutely
well,
wrong.
this is what their findings were. And so
Well,
let me
they're
explain the
wrong.
findings. They could be wrong, but they did
Wrong.
a research study, and
Fake
this was the
news.
findings. So they could experience for children that are impressionable, it can have lasting effects into the future where it's actually creating real trauma in
Mhm.
a person's brain. Outside of that, there is no examples that have any research behind it that horror movies cause trauma. They did say that environment has a lot to do with it. So, if you are
That I
with a
would agree.
younger kid,
That I would
if you have
agree.
a younger kid like 6 years old and they're watching something scary, right? If you if you create an environment where it's meant to be scary, that can linger with them. However
Now
however, if you as a parent or a sibling, like, laugh at the movie and make jokes
mhm.
or like create a looser, like not so serious vibe around the movie, all of a sudden it creates these pathways that's like reminds you this is not real, reminds you that this is meant for the adrenaline rush, and reminds you that this does not have to be something that like it stays with you, right?
I think we also need to clarify that the definition of trauma here is legitimate trauma,
Yeah,
like where
legitimate
where
trauma.
you have issue functioning in real life because of something that you saw.
Yes.
I think it's much harder to do that with a horror movie than it is with something like um like real trauma, like watching
Yes.
somebody die or
Yeah.
things that, because trauma is an immune response
Mhm.
to um overexerting your fight or flight, and
Yes.
that's why it has lasting health issues with like people who served in the military, is
Mhm.
because their fight or flight was on for so long,
Yeah.
which is something that shouldn't be on all the time,
Right.
that it created an immune response within their body to try to protect them. And as it continued to produce that immune response, that's why they
Mhm.
have lasting issues, physiologically and mentally, is because of uh, an immune response happening in their body that shouldn't have been happening over and over and over.
Right.
And for that to happen with like a movie or something, I think it's very difficult. But I think if we lessen our definition of trauma, as in something that affects you, like with my buddy who can't who has a trouble looking at the body horror in
Mhm.
Guardians of the Galaxy. I think a lot of people experience something like that. I think I watched a movie once. I want to say I was in high school,
Mm.
and I don't remember the movie at all
You just remember one
because
scene?
no, I don't remember it at all. I can't even remember what the name of the movie is called
What?
because whatever happened in the movie at the end was so like egregiously horrifying. I blocked it out.
Mm,
Ooh.
interesting. So you were at a younger age, right?
I was maybe 14 or 15 and I didn't realize I went into the movie having one perception of what it was going to be, but then by the end it was one of those one that kind of like flipped the
Right.
tables on
Mhm.
you.
Right.
I just whatever happened in the movie was so dark
He didn't wanna
that
remember it.
I didn't wanna remember it, so I just blocked it out. Like,
Now
it's almost like trying to remember a dream that you can't remember
right,
Yeah.
right.
or
Now,
that you don't wanna remember so you don't think about it.
there are, based on other studies around viewing habits for horror movies, I'll
Mhm.
throw these out there, and then I'll stop with the statistics, and we can just discuss because I also wanna get into, like, maybe faith-based spiritual reasons around these.
Mhm.
But the rest of the statistics is like uh there's like two negatives and a positive that have been brought up.
Mhm.
So first negative is if the main physical reaction that horror movies are proven to react, it's not fight or flight like you were mentioning.
Mhm.
For viewing horror movies, it's rather an adrenaline boost in your system.
Yeah.
That is fun because people find it enjoyable. You get like the horror movie high, you know.
Mhm.
However, if you watch a lot of horror movies at night, you adrenaline is proven to cause you not to be able to sleep because it's an adrenaline chemical in your body. If
Yeah.
you do that often, like 3 or 4 horror movies a week and you can't sleep those nights, you will bring on a whole host of other physical and mental issues because of the lack of
Yeah.
sleep. Um,
Because again, it's an immune response that
yes,
your adrenaline is meant to help you in a quick situation or in a
yes.
situation where you need it, and it's not supposed to be on consistently.
Yes. So the other issue is people with constant anxiety. The thrill or the anxious feelings of a horror movie can
Mhm.
trigger and just compound people's anxiety. So if you deal with a lot of anxiety, just kind of like nervous energy anxiety, then horror movies are not recommended because that's going to
Mhm.
elevate those feelings and you're just
Yeah.
gonna
I
make it
mean,
worse.
there's a reason that I prefer to watch a thrilling movie. I don't go in for horror um, like The Exorcist stuff. That
Mhm.
doesn't do it for me. It just I don't care for, like, supernatural, spiritual stuff like demons,
Mhm.
um, because they rarely have rules.
Right, right, right.
They'll always break the rules.
Right.
Demons and spirits always break the rules every single time.
Yes.
Um, but I like going in for a horror movie, like A Quiet Place or something.
Or Alien.
Or Alien every once in a while because it's enjoyable to get that adrenaline
The horror
scare,
movie
that
Mhm.
high.
thrill, yeah, that
Yeah.
horror movie high every once in a while.
Now, the other positive effect that they said is that for people trying to work on exposure therapy,
Mm,
believe it or
Mhm.
not, past traumas, horror movies have been used to help people
Help.
slowly people gradually. So, you guys familiar with exposure therapy?
mhm. Yeah, I
It's
know.
people that cannot do anything, like they can't, like they're afraid of elevators, right?
Yeah.
A therapist will have them like through a series of processes
Mhm.
get closer to the elevator, hit the elevator button, step into the elevator and then come back out. You're exposing yourself to
Mhm.
to rid
The thing
yourself
you
of this
fear.
irrational
Yeah.
fear. People have used horror movies actually to during exposure therapy, and it has helped some people. So
It's very interesting.
that's one positive to the horror movie genre. But all that to say, let's go ahead and dive into our personal opinions around horror movies, like as individuals. I think.
Well, really quick, I want to harken back to you said that a lot of people, when watching a horror movie or something scary with somebody would make light of it. I used to do this all the time when watching something scary or
Hmm.
something like that with my siblings,
Yes.
my younger siblings, like my sisters especially,
Right.
Yeah.
or William, to make them
Not afraid.
not afraid. I remember watching uh Lord of the Rings. And this
Mhm.
is I was older, and so my sisters were older, but I do remember, like, I didn't want the kind of um the unnervingness of
Yeah.
Gollum to, like, stick in their
Oh
heads.
yeah.
So I purposefully was like, he's really kind of pathetic and you know a sad character, isn't he? And they would be like, yeah, he really is. It
So
really is kind of sad.
Such
instead
a
of being nervous every time he's on
Instead, yeah,
screen,
instead of making like making light or making fun, I was making them feel sympathy for him,
That's
right?
funny.
so
That's
that
such a
when
big
they would
brother
see him,
response.
yeah,
that's the
when they would
Gandalf move.
right, when
Yeah.
they would
Right.
see him, they would feel
Pity.
sympathy and pity and not scary.
Yeah, dude. That's the point of the character, right?
Hmm.
Yeah. Things for me personally, I don't things don't scare me when I'm watching it on film, but I personally stay away from it because it's not for me. No. No, it's not for me. I don't
Now,
like the being scared thing.
you
It's
don't like the adrenaline. You don't.
no.
Maybe you're a little anxious yourself, and maybe you
Yeah.
don't like hyping up that anxiety more. You
See,
know.
my thing as a kid has always like was always it was never spirits or demons or anything. It was always, you know, um I when I'm out in the woods at night or outside at night, I can't see in the dark, but there are things that can.
Yeah.
Yes,
You
cougars,
know? There's
bears,
right. I can't
reindeer.
see, but other things can see. It's like being in the ocean. It's like there's big things out there that you can't see,
Right.
harmful things that you can't see,
That's why
and
Jaws is so
that are
scary.
real. There are monsters out there.
Mhm.
That's why, for me, if it's a horror movie, give me a monster.
Yeah.
I want
You want to
some
you
sort of
want that.
I need the monster. Yeah, that's my thing. It's
Nah.
like I
Nah.
need the monster because a lot of times uh it's really about how do we defeat this thing,
Nah.
Right.
No.
because there's a reason we have legends like, like the Wendigo and things
The
of
Bigfoot.
right, because
Babadook.
back in the day when people were, sitting around fires and
Mhm.
hunting and things, we knew what was out there. And so as humans, we're apex predators. What's scarier than animals is something with traits like us that
Yeah.
can
Mm,
hunt us.
right,
That's
So
right. What's scarier
it's
than a
that's why
grizzly bear? Not
right.
much.
Right. A grizzly bear is scary, but it's also, it's a four-legged beast that we've hunted and killed.
mhm.
Yeah.
Whereas alien is scary because it's a thing that resembles humans. It's bipedal and
It can
it's
eat you
using
like a grizzly do.
yeah, and it's using intelligence, human-like intelligence and traps to hunt and kill.